We've heard a lot this morning already about Libya, and there are lots of positive things about Libya for the UK, for UK education sector. There are very strong existing links. I'm always very impressed by the number of extremely highly qualified Libyans that I've met who've studied in the UK. And I think that generates a very strong link with the UK. There's an appreciation for our education system, what it has to offer, how it works, and I think that's obviously the genesis of this forum. Some of the speakers this morning already mentioned how English is a global language, and that Libyans are very much keen to learn English and to use that to then open up the opportunities that exist for furthering their education and personal development. And also, as we heard this morning, after 40 years of Gaddafi rule, the education system was neglected and under-resourced, and there's a real passion in Libya about making up for these lost years. And again, I think these are the real drivers for this forum. We mentioned the technology. Are we ready to go? So I just wanted to get a feel of the people who are here in the room and to understand what your engagement is at present with Libya. So if everybody has the clickers that they were assigned this morning, just be interested to know who of the participants here are from a university or a UK company or a language school. So not so much maybe the Libyan students or the delegates, but UK institutions. How are we doing for the countdown on time? Okay. We've lost the 10, 9, 8. There we go. Okay, so many of the people here are from UK institutions. So then the next question that I'd be interested to know is, what's your current interest in Libya? How actively engaged are you? So is it a core market? Is it somewhere that you specifically target and actively look to recruit students? Is it somewhere where maybe you receive some students, but it's not something that you're specifically focused on? Or is it an area that you're not engaged as yet, but you'd like to learn more about? Okay, that's very interesting. So it seems about a third, with the lowest third being those that are actively engaged. So hopefully now what I'm going to say is going to be certainly of use to those last two groups. So what I was going to talk about really is through the conversations that we've had with UK firms that are engaged in the market, and also with our counterparts in Libya, three things that UK institutions will need to consider if they're developing partnerships in the Libyan market. Firstly, I think, and very importantly, is to be present in the market. If you want to develop relationships, if you want to develop partnerships and cooperation, then these are going to require face-to-face meetings. They're not necessarily relationships that can be established at a distance and through email. You're going to have to go out and you're going to have to meet with counterparts. And as we've heard, the situation is unstable at the moment. You'll know about the news items and also about the Foreign Office advice on travel to Libya. So really, as organisations, you're going to have to decide whether that's something that you're comfortable with, because it's very important to actually go out to Libya to engage with partners if you want to develop the relationships. Having said that, there are many UK institutions that are doing that at present. There's education institutions and British Council we heard from earlier. Also, many of the people in this room, they either go out frequently, as we heard from the University of Huddersfield, or they actually have offices in Libya. But there are also firms in other sectors, so accountancy, law firms, consultancy firms, and so forth. So potential advice to people who are interested in going out to Libya, or interested in more engagement with Libya, but maybe a little bit concerned about the situation there. Obviously, a first port of call can be UKTI, and we can link you up with security companies who can provide advice or provide you with support should you be concerned about travelling to Libya. Also, the business delegations that are organised either by UKTI or the LBBC. Another option, of course, is to talk to companies or universities that are already actively engaged in Libya, because maybe they can facilitate your introduction into the country. So, next thing to think about is due diligence. Certainly, you need to know who it is that you're dealing with. We hear that many UK institutions receive lots of approaches from individuals who maybe claim to have large contracts with Libyan government authorities, or maybe that they represent ministries and other organisations. It's very, very important that you need to know who these people are and that they're actually genuine, because otherwise, as a UK organisation, you risk wasting a lot of time and possibly opening yourselves up to further risk. Understandably, this can be hard to do from the UK, and again, UKTI can be a point of contact for that, and again, also the companies that are already working actively in the market, because they will have a good feeling for who people are. And then the third thing that I think is very important for UK institutions looking to develop strong partnerships and cooperation in Libya is you have to understand that these won't happen overnight. You have to be in for a long-term relationship and engagement with Libya. Again, things are quite tricky at present with the political insecurities. However, even companies that we've spoken to that have been active in Libya and have been very successful in the country and have developed very strong links and partnerships, it's often taken 1, 2, up to 3 years before these initial conversations that they've had have then led to fruition. So again, institutions looking at Libya, I think you have to take a long-term perspective. Now, I realise that I've been a little bit cautionary there, and I don't think negative, but just trying to point out some of the things that need to be taken into consideration when looking at Libya. But having said that, it can work very, very well indeed, and there are lots of UK institutions that have developed very strong linkages with Libya, and certainly we're keen to support Libya to develop its higher education system, and also very keen to encourage UK institutions to make the most of the opportunities that there are. Thank you very much.